All right, guys, I have here a 22 Magnum 22 WMR 20-inch stainless upper by Bear Creek Arsenal. So this is going to be a review of that upper, but this is also kind of a follow-up video. If you missed the first video, I previously reviewed a 16-inch version of this. Okay, like I said, this is the 20. So first they sent me the 16-inch version, and it was just all black and whatnot, and now we got the 20-inch stainless. So with that one, I'll put a link in the description to that video. We also did some accuracy tests with that 16-inch version, and even did some 300 and 400 yard long range shooting with it. I'll put links to those videos in the description. But I was having an issue with I was having a feeding issue. I couldn't go more than like 3 or 4 mags without having like a misfeed in here. I'm gonna have to clear it. And sorry if you hear the shooting, by the way, it's a public range. There's nothing I can do about that. But I was having some feeding issues occasionally, every 3rd or 4th mag, sometimes every mag. It would just have a hang up there where it wouldn't feed properly. And so I sent it back to Bear Creek, and as per their policy, so they sent me a whole new assembly with everything. We'll go over that in a second, everything that this comes with. We were speculating perhaps it might have been the mag. So they just sent me a whole new upper mag, buffer spring, piston, and all that. I did notice that, if I'm recalling correctly, the follower on this mag, it seems to have less play on it. The other one, if I remember correctly, was a little more floppy. So, you know, maybe indeed it was the mag. So hopefully this one will run good for us today. We're certainly going to put it to the test and find out. But as far as their return policy goes, if you have an issue, you can just send it back to them, and they'll inspect it and, you know, go from there. But for me, they just sent me a whole new upper. So like I said, the first one they sent me was a 16-inch. It was all black. But after I received the initial one, they came out with this 20-inch stainless, and I seen that. So I said, hey, if you end up having to send out another upper, can I get this one instead? Because I really like that one, and so that's what they did for me, so I really appreciate that. But I also have this new red dot on here. I should have a video up prior to this video doing a test on that, but I haven't fired through it yet, so I'm kind of like doing going back and forth on the videos there. So we're starting out testing it on this 22 WMR, then we're going to go 7.62 by 39. So if you want to see the video on that, I'll link that in the description as well. CV Life, little red dot there, so we're testing that out today too. Like I said, if you want to see a review on that, there'll be a link in the description. So anyways, I got her loaded up. I'll knock down some steel, the pistol bait here, got to get her zeroed still. Take it down to the rifle range for some longer shots there. And today I'm just going to be shooting this CCI Maxi 40 grain hollow point. That's all we're running through it today. Now in the original video with the 16-inch upper, when I was having the feed issues, I tried all kinds of different brands of ammunition. It didn't seem to make a difference. So like I said, again, if you want to see all that, link in the description for all the videos. On the first one they sent me, 16-inch. So that said, if we have any feed issues today, you know, I don't think it's the ammunition. I don't think switching to a different type is going to help or anything like that, because I already tried that with the first one. But like I said, hopefully this one runs good. Like I said, the mag does seem a little bit different, less play, so maybe that's a revised mag and we won't have any issues now, fingers crossed. Which, by the way, before I forget, when they send this to you, it comes in this nice padded box. You got both ends shoved in this foam here to protect it there. And this is out of my Anderson here. This is for the 5.56, but it comes with a specific spring and piston there for the 22 WRM 22 Magnum round. And then of course they send you their 10 round magazine here. And for that matter, we're on an Anderson mil-spec lower here, and it's just a standard mil-spec trigger and all that. I forgot to mention they not only have side charging models like this one here, but they also offer rear charging models as well. All right, so far so good. First mag, no issues there, and I wasn't hitting a whole lot because she still needs zeroed. All right, here we go with the next 10. We'll see how she does. All right, so I took 15 more shots off camera, just finishing getting it zeroed in here, and I had no issues there either. So that's 35 rounds so far with 0 issues, which is already way better than the first one did. So I don't want to knock on wood or jinx myself here, but I think this one's good to go. Of course, we're going to keep running it here. Well, one of those early on I missed, and then last one over here, I do believe I hit it. It just didn't fall over. So that's 55 rounds now. Not a single failure, not a single misfeed, nothing. So this one is running good. Like I said, if memory serves me correctly, this mag was a little different. The follower had less play and was a little more stiff there. So I do believe they were probably right that it was the mag. So I'll do a couple bursts here real quick, and then we'll pack it up and head down to the rifle range. Right, I'm out at the rifle range now. Got more of the storm blowing in, but I was, like I said, I'm kind of going back and forth on videos here, reviewing this Clife, CV Life, however you say that, red dot there, which, by the way, I'll put a link in the description for that if you want to check that out. And taking shots out here at 100 yards, and then I switched over here to 130. So that's the 100-yard mount. I got my 16-inch gong there, drilling that, no problem, obviously. And over here, further back, about 115, 120 yards there. But because of the angle we're shooting at, instead of shooting straight out the mount, it's clear over there, probably about 130 yards. And I was just drilling that sucker over and over with that red dot. So I think I got a few rounds left in that mag. I want to go ahead and show you guys that real quick. And I'm actually going to switch over to scope here to finish out the review on this here at the rifle range. And sorry about the audio there. I forgot I have my mic. I had my mic on Zoom mic, so it zooms in on the sound down range. So whenever I move around, zoom in and out while talking with that setting, it always messes my voice up. I forgot I had it on that. So we'll still have it on that for these shots here, because it's kind of hard to hear rimfire hitting thick steel like this far out. Well, I guess I only had 2 rounds left there. I'll put a few more in it and send a few more down there at it. So that's, of course, not any sort of, 100% testimony to accuracy there, but I was pretty impressed by that. But we do have, let me see here. Okay, down here at 100 yards, I got some shoot and see targets there. I believe they're shoot and see. Somebody left them behind and there's no strikes on them. So I'll try to print a little group down there. Keep in mind that it's a mil-spec trigger, so I don't got anything going for me there. But once we get the scope on and zeroed, I'll try to do some 100-yard groups down there, see what kind of accuracy we're getting. That said, as I mentioned earlier, don't forget I did an accuracy test with it with a bunch of different ammo, because today this is all I have with me. But with the 16-inch version that I had the first round, I did an accuracy test video with that. It'll be linked in the description, along with 300 and 400 yards shooting with it accurately as well. So if the 16-inch could shoot 400 yards fairly accurately there, this one should have no problem with the 20-inch, and I'm probably eventually going to take this out 500 yards. So we'll have that to look forward to eventually as well. But let me get my little scope on here and we'll do some more shooting. Alright, so I got my scope mounted up here, and this is just a 15-year-old cheap little Simmons 3-9 by 40. But I actually just did a video with this shooting 5.56 accurately, 10 out of 10 hits at 500 yards. So this is a confirmed good scope, even though it's an old little cheapie there. It's a great little scope. So I'm going to work on getting this thing zeroed, and we'll try to print some groups and hit some steel out here. Just a little high of dead center of your screen right now, there's a piece of a broken orange clay sitting there on the mound, and I started shooting at it there to work on zeroing the rifle, which this is actually typically what I do to get a quick zero. So you can see there I was about 4 or 5 inches high, so I made a few clicks down, shot high again, made a few more clicks down, and then we were pretty much good to go, as you'll see. Alright, so I just used that little piece of orange broken clay down there to get her zeroed real quick there. I'm going to perfect my zero on the target I have set up over here. Where the heck is it? There it is. Okay, so I got some 7.62 by 39 holes off to the left center there, so I'll just go dead center and we'll print a little group and see what further adjustments I need here. I don't think you guys will be able to see 22 cow holes from here, but I'll keep it rolling and then we'll go down and check it out. Holy crap. Man, I was just slinging them down here. I wasn't even trying to be super precise or anything. And man, yeah, 3 touching right there at 50 yards, so I do need to make a little slight adjustment to the left here. I do want it about 1 inch high at 50 so that it'll be dead on at 100, so I'm going to leave the height. I need to bring it over a few clicks, but we're pretty close there. Again, keep in mind, we do have a light breeze here. It keeps like picking up and dying off. It was pretty bad earlier, and see it's changing direction on us too. See, it was coming this way, now it's going that way, and there's probably some left and right variance too. So with that, the fact that we have some varying winds here, it's not going to be the best groups that we could print, but I'm going to send them down there anyways and see what we can do at 100 yards there. So this black and white at the top of that palette, I'm going to go for the one on the right first, center mass there on the larger in the center there, and then I'll shoot the one on the left as well. I do believe they're shooting seeds, so hopefully you guys can see the impacts. All right, we'll go check them out, but we are beyond 100 rounds here, and it still has been flawless all day. So yeah, this one is working fantastic. And like I said, I'm going to side with them, and I do believe it was the magazine. Like I said, this one felt different to me than the first one did, so pretty sure they're right that it was the mag there. I did ask them about just sending me a mag to try that and see if that would work, but they wanted me to send everything back just in case, just so they could give it a look over and make sure they didn't find anything else. But yeah, I think it's the mag from the first one that was probably causing the issue there. But regardless of the issue, if you do have any issues, just get it back to them and they'll make it right for you. All right, so here's our targets here, and you know, I wasn't going for absolute precision or anything like that. The bag's a pretty good rest, but it's not perfect. And like I said, we are dealing with some wind out here today. So you can see my groups here are a little off to the left now at 100, so I need to come back to the right. Went too far on the scope there, at least for 100 yards. So that's not too bad. That's got a little flyer right there. Those 4 right there is right at about an inch, if not for that flyer. And I'm not sure what happened here. Also on this group here, if you take out that yellow flyer off to the right, this is also about a 1-inch group. I don't know. This one it was stringing up and down, and then this one's stringing left and right, so I'm inclined to believe that was probably the wind. And then, like I said, this one just flyer dropped down low here. Otherwise it probably would have been up here with those. And then this was probably the wind going back and forth. So I think under the right conditions, this is shooting really near to MOA. All right, so I got my 16-inch steel gong out there at 300 yards. Got it all painted up fresh there. Which, by the way, if you guys want to get yourself any steel targets, you got a link in the description where I get those. We're a good company. So that's a 16-inch at 300 yards. Now obviously it's going to drop considerably considering it's zeroed at 100 right now, so I haven't decided yet if I'm going to try to aim over it and hit it or readjust the scope or what. But I think I'm going to try to print a few more groups down here at 100 as well, so I haven't made an adjustment to get it centered there. And whenever the wind's calm, I'm probably going to try to do another group or two down there at 100. But we're going to try to get some hits 300 here on the steel gong. Now obviously 100 is not going to be an issue at all, judging by the groups on those targets, as if I didn't already know that. 200 is not going to be too terribly much more difficult either. 300 here, considering we got a little bit of wind, and this is a 16-inch. Okay, I mentioned earlier that with the original version they sent me, the 16-inch version, I did a long-range video shooting 300 and 400 yards, what I would consider pretty accurately, at least for a rimfire. And that was a 20-inch gong. So I'm gonna go ahead and do 300 here today with this 16-inch gong. I think that's pretty fair. So I'm not trying to go, super far with it. Obviously, most people are gonna call me crazy for shooting rimfire this far anyways. I just really like to push stuff. It's just part of what's fun to me. I like to see how far I can push things, see how far I can get them to reach out accurately and whatnot. Like I said earlier as well, I will eventually probably be taking this out to 500 yards, but today with the wind is just not the day for that. So got the little 16-inch out there at 300 yards. That's enough of a challenge for me today, so I'll get some hits on that, print a couple more groups down here at 100 yards, and we'll wrap up. So again, obviously we're zeroed for 100. This is a 30-30 reticle on the scope, so I'm just going to use the portion below the center crosshair where it starts to get thick and it comes to a triangular point. Most of you guys will know what I'm talking about there. So I'm going to use that point of the 30-30 reticle, and I'm going to aim at the very top of the gong there at 300 and see where we're hitting, and I'll make adjustments from there. It might be high, it might be low, I'm not sure yet, but that's how I'm going to start aiming for these 300-yard shots, and then I'll adjust accordingly. I also want to note, I'm not going for, again, superb precision, just trying to hit the plate out there. I'll try to make decent shots, but like I was just explained, trying to group down there at 100, I'm having a little bit of movement out here. So with that said, I'm not trying to print like a 3 or 4 inch group down here at 300 yards. I'm just trying to hit the plate. Alright, it was really low and slightly off to the right. We got a bounce hit, so it hit low in the grass and then bounced up and hit just to the right of the steel there. So I got to aim a lot higher. Alright, height was pretty close there. Don't move on me, camera. But it was still off to the right side. You should be able to see in the camera there the wind is blowing, so obviously the wind's blowing off to the right down there, pushing the bullet just off to the right of the target there. So I will aim slightly left to try to make contact with the steel. Alright, there's 3 in a row. Let me load back up and we'll get some more hits. I'm going to keep the same aim point, but it looks like the wind died down some, so it might not hit so far off to the right edge now. I'm not sure.
Yeah, those ones are hitting a lot more centralized, so that's definitely because the wind died down there. So it kicks up, it pushes it real far right. Right now, you can see it's blowing a little bit, but not nearly as hard as it was, so it's not pushing the bullet as much.
Here we are at 300. Okay. So initially, as I called out, we were hitting off to the right side because the wind was really blowing it over. So I aimed off to the left here, and I was aiming way over it. Something back there, that grass area back in there, I was aiming. So it's always hard to be precise and accurate, especially repeatable, you know, using Kentucky windage like that when you can't even aim at your target. It makes it astronomically more difficult to print tight groups. And like I said, I wasn't going for that anyways. But other than this one flyer here where I don't know what the heck happened, I probably pulled that one. You can see here that they're all grouping over here. And this was our first set. Once I realized, you know, immediately that it was, okay, I'm hitting over here to the right because the wind's pushing it off the edge. So I aimed over, and then these three, I can't remember if there was 3 or 4, but that's where those were right there. They're pretty consistent, other than some were higher than the others. Okay, and that's the whole Kentucky windage thing I was talking about, having to pick a point back there, make sure I was lined up far enough left over here and all that, you know, all those calculations going on at the same time. That's where you're going to get this variance a little bit because of the Kentucky windage and not being super precise. Then I reloaded and started shooting again, and that's when I exclaimed that the wind died down, so we might hit further left, and that's exactly what happened. That's where you can see here. Initially they were hitting over here, but the wind died down and they came over here. So had the wind stayed consistent, all these shots would be over here with these as well. So that would have been pretty consistent shooting, other than the up and down, in which you can see I did do a little better on the up and down here with the second string there. So I mean, overall, and I got little hands, but you know, that's a head there at 300 yards. So, you know, it's a little 40 grain rimfire bullet, not going nearly as fast as centerfire stuff, and it slows down way faster. So if you could take wind, you know, a completely calm day, and be zeroed, and not using Kentucky windage, you should be able to shrink this even, you know, down to something about half that size. It should print probably, you know, about 4-inch a group down here or better at 300 yards under perfect conditions. And that's pretty good in my book, especially for a 22 Magnum AR platform, considering like nobody but Bear Creek makes them right now. I'm turning around here to drive back up, but I wanted to show you it is still windy down here. It's still pushing the bullets around too. Got this man-sized silhouette down here, 80 yards there. Gonna light that thing up real quick. Well, I don't know if you could hear all those hits, but I didn't miss. And I think that's as fast as I shot it today, 10 rounds in a row, no problem. So she's been absolutely flawless for us today. So that's 140 rounds today, guys. I think a few I said were off camera. Some were in the other video, the review of the red dot. Some of the shots were in there. Again, link in the description if you want to check out the video on that. So 140 rounds today, not a single issue whatsoever. So yeah, she's running great. So like I said, the first one had some misfeed issues here and there. We believed it was probably the mag, and I know I've said this like 5 times now, but just upon inspecting this initially, it felt different to me. It had less play, less slop, and now we're not having any issues, so pretty sure it was that magazine that was just the issue there. So running flawless, running great, prints real good. Like I said, it'll definitely shoot better than I can, because I can see that I'm making mistakes out there, and it shows. Plus the wind factor. Yeah, I don't know what else to say other than I'm super happy, because it's so fun to shoot 22 Magnum in the AR platform. I had so much fun with the first one. I was a little bummed that I kept having feed issues. So big thanks to them again for making it right, which they're going to do for any of you guys anyways. That's their policy. They told me if you have an issue, just get it back to them and they'll get it figured out for you. So if you do have any issues, they should take care of you. I did a review on one of their 5.56 uppers as well. You guys just scroll through the channel if you want to check that out, because I'm already going to have too many links in the description. So like I said, link in the description for the original review video of the 16-inch version of this. Link in the description for accuracy test I did with it. Link in the description for the long range video I did with it as well. And I'm going to try to take her out the 500 yards because I've never done that. So got the 16-inch out the 400 pretty easily, if I remember correctly. No issue there. So I think with this 20-inch version here and some good ammo, I should be able to do 500 yards. So like I said, I know a lot of you are going to say I'm dumb for that because it's not meant to shoot that far, which it's not, but that's kind of fun I like to have here. I like pushing things like that. I just want to see if I can do it. So eventually I should have a 500-yard video of this coming up. I'm going to wrap her up there, guys. Appreciate you stopping by, checking it out. Thanks for watching. If you want to get yourself any of the products you see in the video, like shooting bags, earmuffs, and my steel targets and more, links in the description. Like I said, check out the other videos from the original one, accuracy test, long range. Without ado, guys, again, big thanks to Bear Creek for sending me this one out again. Hope you all enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you on the next one.